Greetings! Welcome to my Nyotengu guide tutorial. I'm Force of Nature representing top tier tips, and I welcome you to your prime spot for tips and tricks to help you level up at Dead or Alive 5. Alright, in this session, we're going to be taking a look at the return of Tengu. This time in female form. Yeah, she looks a lot nicer than the old Tengu and older Dead or Alive games, so yeah, here it is. Anyways, just a bit of a background on Nyotengu, well, gameplay wise. Alright, she's a zoning and spacing character with great mobility, solid damage output, and a good throw game. So basically what I want you to do with Nyotengu is try to control space with her as much as possible and utilize her good damage output after any of her her launcher. So basically just try and get as much damage as you can when you actually do get an opportunity to deal damage to your opponent. So for end up control in space, Nyotengu does have some mobility tools to help you out, such as like her 7P or her 9P. So 7P is for creating space, and 9P is for closing distance. And as a neat little trick, you can also use it to fly over an opponent, after you knock him down or something like that. So which is actually kind of cool. So yeah, so Nyotengu has a built-in kind of cross-up capability. I will let you know that, and I'll probably end up going over this quite a bit of times throughout the tutorial, is that speed is not Nyotengu's friend. I mean, the bird lady is pretty damn slow. So I mean, that's always something that to keep in mind. So generally, you don't want to be spending too much time right in your opponent's face. What you want to do is just create space, and you actually, and if you can, try knock back the opponent as much as possible, like this. Create lots of space like that. Alright, before you end up doing anything with Nyotengu, what I actually recommend is that you check out her command training and her combo challenges. Alright, I'll let you know her command training is probably not going to take that long. She only has about 72 moves, which is considered below average. Her Tengu's moveset isn't necessarily the largest thing, so hopefully it doesn't take you that long to get it down. So once you're good with their command training, then I want you to try out her combo challenges. In those, what I want you to do is pay attention to any combo challenges that tend to involve her what's called her Hiten-No-Mai stance. So when she's flying, for instance, right there, that little transition was her stance. She also can do it off of moves. See right there, there's some examples. So I mean, the biggest thing with Nyotengu is just trying to get used to the different transitions into her Hiten-No-Mai stance. Alright, before I go on, I just want to throw out a little disclaimer that if I end up saying anything or doing anything here, or end up going over any terms that you might not be completely familiar with, feel free to check out my other guides just to give you, see if you can find any answers to your queries or any sort of conundrums you might run into. Anyways, now I'm just going on to Nyotengu's mid-range game, because this is probably a good starting point for a range. I don't really recommend close-range combat that much with her. Alright, when you're fighting around mid-range, the pokes you're probably going to be making quite a bit of usage out of would be your 3K. So right here, I'll just show you some statistics on it. Alright, right there, as you see, it's a 17 frame. It's a 17 frame mid kick that does 22 damage. It's not bad on block. It's -9, but it has a follow up into a guard break that can be either +3 or +4 based on stance and distance when you do it to your opponent. So it has a follow up to prevent punishment. So you can throw this out pretty safely. Sadly, for Nyotengu, 17 frames is actually considered one of her faster moves for her. I mean, for any of the speed demon characters like a Kasumi or Christie, 17 frames would be piss slow, but for Nyotengu, this is pretty much, well, I mean, this is considered par for the course for her. So yeah, so for poking, definitely recommend 3K. Other moves that you can take a look at, use would be like her 6K to close distance. Like this bad boy reaches like pretty far. You see right here, 2.27 meters. So 6K is pretty nice. It had, as I showed a little earlier, it had to transition into her flying stance. But along with 6K, you can also try her 6P string. This is her 15 frame mid with 2 follow-up. And you see it even gives enough stun to cause to set up a critical burst, which is kind of cool. The main thing about her 6 PP, the main point of this move is to generally kind of bait responses. You're just going to be doing the first 2. I mean, just to get some, just to get a little specs for it on block. Alright, the first 2 hits are only -7, which is considered semi-safe, so if you actually only just do those 2 moves, the opponent could try and do a 5-frame throw to you, or a 6-frame throw if they have it. But of course, because of the third follow-up there, which is delayable, they're likely not going to do that. And as you see, if you do the full -5 on block, which means that the opponent cannot punish you, but because of how slow Nyotengu is, you're going to have to be very defensive anyway. So the general rule of thumb for -5 is just perform a fuzzy guard, which is with 3/3 guard. Alright, so if you do manage to get the full string, you'll be safe on block, but the opponent will try and do like a... may try and mid-punch hold you. So in that case, you could try some shenanigans. See right there, I just used her 8K launcher, which is actually a pretty good high crush launcher. So yeah, those are different kind of like shenanigans you can like try. Or H+K, so there's different things you can do. Another move you can also use for closing gaps, if you just want like a low poke, is basically her go-to low poke, I'd say, is her 2P. Just like her 6P, it's another 15 frame move, and it has a delayable follow-up. It's got decent range too. It's also her high crush of choice, so that does come in pretty handy. All right, from mid range, if you want to create space to transition to the long range, that's where 7P comes in handy. Another thing also to note is her 7K looks a lot like it, and is like a 16 frame like DP like move. I mean, unfortunately, sadly for Nyotengu, 16 frames is how fast her DP like move is. Most characters, it's usually like between like 12, 13, or 14 frames. But yep, Nyotengu's is 16 frames, but hers is really good and has a follow up too. So I mean, that's always helpful. And if you want to, if the opponent ends up like whiffing anything and you want a whiff punisher, I usually recommend 6K. If they like whiff it right in front of you, you can use 6PP also. But this is usually a good go-to move because it's also only like -3 on block, so it's actually a nice attack to chuck out for Nyotengu for either whiff punishment or just to get in on opponents. All right, just gonna move on to her long range game, so a little further out. All right, when you're in long range for any sort of distance, your focus is going to be around keep out, especially if you have any sort of like life lead on your, opponent. All right, when you're at like long range, like you're all the way back, what I want you to do is harass your opponent with 4 P+K. Alright, with this move, the point of this move is as a projectile move, is to give the opponent something to worry about at range. What it basically means is that if I have a life lead, Nyotengu is never, or pretty much a lot of characters are, but characters with projectiles like Nyotengu are pretty much never obligated to approach the opponent. So what this means is that you can just hang back and harass them with this move. See, if you just hold it down but don't release it, then it automatically releases after about 254 frames. See, like right there, it ends up showing. So unfortunately you can't hold it down forever. Although in older editions of Dead or Alive 5, or older patch revisions, you could hold it down indefinitely, but they changed that in one of the latter patches. But the main thing you're going to be doing though is, I mean, you shouldn't be holding it down the whole time, is using baits. See, I mean, you can even get kind of like crafty with it if you like have advantage, like on someone's wake up. You could fake it out, then just try and sneak in her flying stance throw. Even though I admit that's a bit of a gimmick, but it's just like to give you a little idea of like things that you can do with it. Other things, little things that are kind of neat to know about it is that the closer you are to the opponent, look how far back it pushes back. So the closer you are, the further back it pushes back the opponent. See, when you're further out, it doesn't push him back as far, but the point of it is it helps you maintain your space. In order to avoid it, the opponent would have to perform a mid-punch hold, because Nyotengu's 4P plus K P is a track-in, well, it's a track-in infinite range move, so if they perform a mid-punch hold, it will negate the pushback and they'll do like a special sidestep animation. If you do it in point-blank range, it's possible for the opponent to hold it. See if I can just show a small example. Yeah, so you can hold it in close range, but you just perform a special sidestep if done outside of a melee range or close range. All right. Also, like I said earlier, at long range, your focus is around just keeping the opponent out. So what happens if the opponent has a life deficit? They're eventually gonna have to come at you and run at you or something. And that, I mean, what you can do is just maintain your space with 7P, but if they actually do get too close, nail them with 6KP. You see that move has a follow-up. The follow-up is minus 60 on block, so it is unsafe. But because of having a follow-up, it makes 7K itself a little, well, very risky to try and punish, so that you can basically get away with this move a fair bit, which is pretty cool. And also another thing you could actually do at long range is use her 9P to like bait reactions. Hell, actually out of 7P also, I think you could do her, yeah, you could do her flying attack out of that too. But with 9P, you can end up setting up flying stance stuff with that, so you can end up getting in some sort of like shenanigans or whatever. Okay, now I'm just going to be going to Nyotengu's close range game. I'll just let you know right now that yes, Nyotengu, to put things, or just to put it in perspective, like I'll just show you right now. Her fastest mid is 15 frames, and her fastest low is 15 frames. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people can outpoke her very easily on like anything. However, I'll just say that when you're in close range with Nyotengu, there's two functions you're going to be focusing on. The first one is using her P plus K, like this move here is like Nyotengu's friend, and the other one is your guard button. So basically what you're going to be doing in close the most with Nyotengu is just basically holding down your guard button and just blocking and waiting for an opportunity to smack someone in the face with this move. As for P plus K, I'll just let you know this move here is probably one of Nyotengu's best moves. I mean, it's a 10 frame high. It does 20 damage. Look at that, it gives you a plus 35 nosebleed stun. And it, yeah, this move also allows you to get off, it also, I'll just let you know later on that it can also be used after certain guard breaks, which is cool, which I'll show you, but this move here is basically Nyotengu's any move that has any sort of speed behind it. So in close, you're going to be using that the most. If the opponent does do something that leaves them at a bit of frame disadvantage, like more than say like let's say like -5, -6 or more, something like that, then you could try and poke back with 6 PP. Remember, this right here is a good poke. You can use it both for getting in, but you can also use it right in the opponent's face because it causes a nice stun on normal hit. And of course your low of choice is 2P, which will also serve as your high crush of choice. As for other high crushes, apart from 2P, you also have 2H plus K. So 2P or 2H plus K, which has numerous follow-ups. So you can just continue it. You could transition into your flying stance also. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So you can use either of those attacks for high crushes, and I also stated earlier that 8K is a high crush launcher. On minimum height, you can get a free air throw by pressing T. And on higher launches, you can do a lot more, but that's just a little example. Alright, for low crushes, the recommended low crush I'd say is her 7K, so this basically is her DP. If you end up catching the opponent's gonna do a low, especially a relatively slower low, you could just blow them up with this move, and with the follow-up, blast them into a wall, did decent damage. Another low crush you could try is her 1P. I don't know if it's as effective as 7K, but it's a kind of a relatively safer option. It has follow-ups, and it can transition into her flying stance, so that's also kind of cool. So I'll just let you know that if you're in close with Nyotengu, generally what your objective is to try and get out of it. There's two ways to get out of it. I mean, generally with Nyotengu, I recommend it more than any characters. You seriously want to just do things that knock people away. Like, look how much space her 6K which does, or stuff like that. And of course her 4P plus K knocks the opponent back. I mean, a lot of Nyotengu's moves are just based around knocking the opponent away. So with Nyotengu, you want to do that a lot, or you just simply want to use 17, try and get away. So generally your objective with Nyotengu is to control space. All right, let's let you know with Nyotengu that, well, she has a couple moves you can use as force text. The recommended one would be her 4H plus K. See right here, it's actually a pretty good guard break if it does get blocked. So if you have advantage, you can kind of chuck this out. The other one I would recommend is 2PP, but you have to actually delay the second hit a little bit, because if you do it end up too fast, the second hit can whiff. So just delay it a little bit. I also let you know that Nyotengu's 4H plus K also allows her to get a free no time in power launcher, if I'm not mistaken. See right there, all you do is after the power launcher, just hold down 4H plus K entirely and you'll get the launch. Then if you just want to know what I just did 8 PP, P plus K, P plus K. So it transitions into the Hiten-No-Mai stance, then you just end off with that. So that is pretty cool though, to have a no time in power launcher combo you can just chuck out. So there's one thing that you can do. I know there's much more effective power launcher combos, but that's a nice little go-to one. Okay, this will be going on to Nyotengu's guard break moves right now. Alright, Nyotengu actually has quite a bit of guard breaks. Alright, I'll just go over, I might have gone over some indirectly earlier, but I'll just go over some right now. So right there, that's her 6P plus K. Slap on those move details. Alright, so you get +5, but with this one, I mean, yeah, it's 23 frames is not the fastest, but it's still okay. But if you press the P button on hit after the guard break is blocked, you get to go into her flying stance and try some. I'm sure you could probably try some shenanigans. The throw won't work, but But the main thing about this is just to so you can close distance and try and maintain pressure on the opponent. You can also, as you can see, still can transition into her flying stance. So that's a neat little quirk about it. Alright, other guard breaks are 9K, which is the same as her 3KK. This one transitions into the Hiten-No-Mai flying stance, so that's pretty cool. So you use this if you want to do if you end up wanting to do follow-ups from the flying stance if you want, but with +3 or +4, you can't really do much with it, but it's still a positive guard break. Other ones include 4P, you get +12, and it allows Nyotengu to end up doing moves from her back turn stance. So that's how you can set up back turn mix-up if you so desire to want to do that. But her bigger guard breaks would be like her 4H+K, well, more specifically when it's fully charged, or her Hiten-No-Mai H+K, which you can basically do like 9K, so a guard break into a guard break. Alright, unfortunately this one comes really close, but it unfortunately can't allow a guaranteed follow-up. I mean her guard break from the Hiten-No-Mai stance, but this guard break for H+K can give her a free P+K. So with that right there, you can get some shenanigans at a wall. In open space, it actually pushes back a bit too far, but if you have enough advantage for an opponent and you have them freeze up, you could try and sneak in a fully charged this, but of course the opponent has to be respecting you quite a bit for that to be able to work, so that is pretty cool. But might as well go over her wall game right now while I'm at the wall. Alright, I'll just use this as an example. A recommended wall slams, I would say, is something like her 66K. Like I just show right here. See, just to show I can wall slam on normal hit. It does 20 frames. Remember I said it was safe. You can mix up with her 66P, which is also her 20 frames. So for wall slams, you can also use K or you can also use counter hit 3K over a 17 frame wall slam, but I mostly recommend 66K, 66P or K. Oh yeah, and also for guard breaks here, her K and 6K do are considerable guard breaks also. Like neutral K gives you +2, but 6K also gives you enough for a free P+K follow-up. So after you wall slam the opponent, you follow up with 1 PP, P+K, P+K. Why is this not? So there you go. Okay, now I'm just going to be going on to Nyotengu's throw game. Alright, Nyotengu's throw game is actually pretty strong. What I'll let you know about her throw game is there's generally 2 throws that I recommend. Her 6T and her half circle forward T. I'll just show you a quick little rundown right now. She has the usual 5 frame throw. Her 6T, there's a little reset. Her 10 frame throw is just mostly just damage. And her 12 frame throw is her launcher throw. So you could be using her 7 frame throw and her 12 frame throw the most. I mean 7 frame is also the punish throw. As opposed to getting just outright damage, Nyotengu ends up getting a reset situation for +10. See, after this you can follow up with 6P string, jab string. P plus K unfortunately won't. Well, P plus K won't reach unless it's like really close. And it usually whiffs. 2 PP you can reach, so you can try different things, or you can sneak in and you could try and sneak in an offensive hold if you do a micro dash. So yeah, so it's just basically a standard plus 10 reset throw. You can't get anything off it except the mix-up. So, but the main throw that you're going to be focusing on for damage or mix-ups, like for instance, if you want to try and get crafty after like 6 PP, like if the opponent, for instance, is blocking it, then you can end up going for that throw, or launcher throw. Alright, after the launcher throw, the combo I recommend is 8 PPP, then transition into her flying stance, and you have a little air throw out of that. Like, it's not this one, but it's a throw against the airborne opponent, so it is actually pretty cool. Okay, also let you know, Nyotengu does have a couple offensive holds. She just well, they're just standard offensive holds. She has her 6-6T, switches sides, is about 40 damage, is 16 frames, so it's a pretty standard offensive hold. And if for an opponent that is crouching, she has a typical 10 frame offensive hold. Does about 44 damage, just slams into the ground. Nothing too spectacular, but it is nice to have. One thing I actually like about Nyotengu is that her 2 low throws are pretty good. But I'll just show you one special attribute about her 6-6T at a wall. See, if you actually do it at a wall, you get quite a lot of advantage, like plus 48. So with this, you can end up dashing in, then you can like run a mix-up. Because it puts the opponent in a slumping state, they're unable to do a wake-up kick to you. So this essentially becomes a reset throw at a wall. So it's basically going to be like almost a mix-up between doing it again. You can go and do some 6P shenanigans. You could try and poke with 6-6K for a wall slam. So there's like there is different things you can do. But if you just want the sheer damage, then just when you see the combo hold, just press the P button. Then you get 60 damage, but the opponent does not have the slumping state, so they can't perform a wake-up kick against you. Alright, and okay, I'll continue on with her low throws. Alright, both her low throws do pretty good damage. That right there is down T or 2T. For 5 frame low throw, it gets 65 damage, and it looks pretty cool. And her other low throw is 1T for 10 frame low throw, which does awesome damage at 72. But another actually kind of nice attribute about her 1T is it actually can wall slam, if I can set her up right now. I mean, ceiling it. Alright, right there with that combo, what I ended up doing was just H plus K, P plus K, then in midair you press PP, then PK, then just a throw button for an air throw. And right there you see you get 109 damage, which is very respectable. You also can get that off of her stand-in throw, if I'm not mistaken. Her stand-in launcher throw can also seal and hit. I kind of threw me off a bit. Because this stage actually, the Azuchi stage is both ceilings and open space, so I thought I was going to go open space. And as you see, you could do the same combo with the stand-in throw, and it does like 124 damage. And that's just on normal hit. On high counter, you add like 50% to that, and it just becomes like really devastating. So So yeah, those are two things. That under a ceiling, Nyotengu has dangerous throws from both crouching and standing. Alright, other throws to take note of is that you might have seen it, she has throws from her flying stance, from her Hiten-No-Mai stance, and if an opponent is crouching, she thinks she has a throw from there too, where she's kind of rapes her opponent and gets okay damage. So there's lots of different little shenanigans. Like she even technically has a throw against someone who's like grounded too. I mean, with her 2T. So I mean, she's got a bunch of nifty throws, and of course she has a. Of course, she also has a air throw, which you might have seen already. Smack him down. Just to let you know, anything that smacks the opponent on the ground gets good ground damage also. Alright, just to be going on to now Tengu's hold game now. Well, even though I'll just let you know, out of her holds, they do decent damage at 58 on normal hit and 87 on high counter, but I'll let you know that there isn't anything really spectacular about them. They don't really blast the opponent away or set up combos or anything like that. Though some of them do look kind of cool though, if it matters. Like I like her low kick hold. Like this one is pretty badass. I mean, you might recognize some of these animations from Tengu, so yeah. But other than that, there's not really much to say with regards to her hold game. So yeah. All right, I'm just gonna show critical burst juggle right now. Alright, let's let you know right now that's the same combo as, after you do the critical burst, it's the same combo as her, either their ceiling, as both of her ceiling throws, so, because, let's see if I can just, remember it, H plus K, P plus K, while in the air, PP, PK, then throw, so, there you go. Anyway, practice with Nyotengu is just getting used to her different Hiten-No-Mai transitions. I'll let you know that when you're chaining combos with attacks that make use of the Hiten-No-Mai strikes, like the mid-air PP or the mid-air PK, the timing for them is actually really weird. So what you can do is go to one of the combo challenges and set one of the ones to repeat, such as I think there's like do like one of the combos after a critical burst. If you end up set it to repeat, just get used to the PP and PK transitions because the timing is really weird. So once you like get used to that, then a lot of other stuff with Nyotengu will start to fall into place, including like practicing her ceiling throws or power launcher combos, stuff like that. So, but other than getting down those transitions, she's not really, I wouldn't necessarily call her a particularly overly difficult character. So the biggest thing with her is, of course, because of her piss slow speed, you have to be really patient against opponents, and also let you know she is indeed the slowest middleweight. So compared to a character like Rachel or even like Bass or something like that, she doesn't have the benefit of being a super heavyweight. So you have to make use of her mobility options to compensate for that, because most super heavyweights don't really have the best mobility. So yeah, those are other things to know. Anyways, if you have any questions about anything I said in this guide or anything like that, feel free to contact Force of Nature on freestepdodge.com, or you can also contact me on my YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. And also be sure to check out my other character guides just to get a little overview for like the rest of the cast and just get a feel for other characters. If I haven't done your favorite yet or anything like that, let me know. Let's just like write it down in the comments below, and I'll make sure to look into them into the future. I'll write down Nyotengu's Hiten-No-Mai Transitions down in the info below. But if there's any other kind of like questions or anything, just let me know. Anyways, this is Force of Nature signing off. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on Top Tier Tips.